How do you feel right now, sir?
With all these cameras in my face, excited for a new beginning.
What have you done since your release in December?
What have I done? I've tried to get indoctrinated back into society by getting my driver's license, which I don't have yet, by getting ID, which has been difficult, because when I left the streets, I had ID, but when I got out, I didn't have ID, so I had to go through that process.
We had to get his birth certificate from Alabama.
I had to get a birth certificate. You can't get ID in Michigan unless you got a birth certificate. So I took about maybe 6 or 7 times just going back and forth to the Secretary of State just to get identification. Other than that, I've just been, trying to get back indoctrinated into society.
What are your plans moving forward?
Plans?
Well, what do you plan to do?
Staying out of prison, for one.
Yeah.
Trying to get my life back in order. Try to find some kind of financial stability, which right now is kind of difficult because dealing with the state, being an exoneree, you don't get the same benefits as someone that's been convicted of a crime. When you get out, basically you're just thrown pretty much out there in the street and told that you're on your own. And that's what I've had to deal with since I've been out.
Are you better?
Do you have any resentment towards the criminal justice system?
No. I said that the first time that I think it was December the 14th when they let me out on bond. I said at that time, and I repeat again, there is no animosity. In order to have animosity in your heart, the animosity has to be there before you have problems. So if you have a rotten heart from the beginning, you're going to have a rotten heart afterwards. My heart has never been rotten.
I just
You
think
must have had some kind of resolve for 45 years not to cop a plea.
Well, I don't. The closest that I've come to even having a plea offered to me was when my attorney, David Moran, came to me and said that he may be able to work out a deal. And I told him at that time, which I will repeat now, I would rather die in prison than to admit to something that I didn't do. And that still stands today.
How can you not be better after 45 years of your life? The good part of your life gone.
As I told you before, you have to be a bitter person from the beginning. The bitterness has to be inside. I've never carried bitterness around. So therefore, I'm not bitter now.
Is this overwhelming that you now are, all the charges going to be dropped? You're now a free man after 40 plus years.
So far, I don't know if the charges have been dropped or not. But when they do, then I'll be able to experience that emotion.
What do you want to say to those who fought on your behalf?
There's probably not enough words to express how much love, how much devotion that I've been shown as an inmate. Normally, attorneys are probably trained not to get too personal with their clients, and I understand that. But the attorneys that I've had have more than shown me attorney-client privileges. They've shown me love, devotion, and guidance. And so I cannot say enough about them. Gabby Silver, David Moran, the students that helped on my case. There's probably about 10 of them. I can't remember them all, and I can't name them all because we're probably under time restrictions here. But there's been a lot of people that's been in my corner, and I'm very appreciative of that.
What kept you motivated? What kept you going while you were in prison?
There really was no motivation. The only motivation that I had was to get up every day, to make another day. I heard a song years ago from a female by the name of Marlena Shaw, and she said that in order to continue in life, no matter what problems you have to keep getting up. So I just kept getting up.
Well, Mr. Phillips, you make a good point because your appeals were exhausted. This kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, they came at me with the exoneration process.
Right, this came out of nowhere.
I didn't expect it. I expected probably to just, say sayonara to a lot of y'all going to the graveyard at Cherry Hill. But that's not going to happen now.
Yeah, Gabi Silver said you've been, I think, maybe counseling, offering some words of encouragement to people in
Well,
jail.
I have. I
Can you
did
talk
that.
about that?
I did that when I was in jail. It was, I think the officer's name was Hornbuckle. He had a group of kids, maybe about 50 kids, and at that time I told him, I said, well, bring them over here by me, and if I got, if they want to listen, if they'll stand by and listen, then I'll tell them that prison is not a place for young black men today, because majority of them were young black men. And that was actually something that I wanted to impart as part of my feelings, because that actually affects me. I was a young black man too in the city of Detroit, and I had to experience a lot of urban problems and gang problems and so forth. And those are the things that I wouldn't want the average child to go through today, and to experience the prison experience that I've had, because that's no place to be somebody.
And sir,
So
the
at
first
end
thing
of the
that you
day,
thought.
you feel pretty good about the decision of innocence that you maintain?
At the end of the day, as far as the justice system is concerned, it works. It just didn't work fast enough in my case. It's a check and balance process. And the reason why I was able to gain my freedom is because the checks and balances do work. Sometimes they work a little longer than they should, as in my case, but still, I was told that I was the longest exonerated person in the United States. Somebody told me that. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's correct. Mr. Phillips will be the longest.
But that's nothing to
serving
be
exonerated
proud of.
in U.S. history.
And sir, the moment that you got the news that this is finally, after all this time behind you, can you just tell us what went through your mind? What did you think? What did you say?
In relation to what?
Just when you found out that this day is coming, that this is behind you now.
What did I say and what did I think? Not a whole
I mean,
lot.
a sense of.
It was a sense of relief, a sense of relief. But, I have faith in God. So I expected this to happen. I just didn't expect it to take this long. That's the only
And
reason.
along the way, though, you did not give up, even though it took.
Never, not once.
Mr. Phillips,
Not once did I do.
what kept you going? I mean, you're talking about more than 4 decades.
The hope of one day being free. That kept me going. The hope that one day the system would work, because the justice system that we have here in America is the only one that we have. We need to be proud of the fact that we got police officers, because without police officers, none of us would be standing here today. The city would be in mayhem. So we need police officers. We need the court system. We need all these things, but we need to refine them to the point where as though everybody receives their fair share of justice.
And what is next for you, sir? What's next for you in your life?
I'm not quite sure. The next thing for me really is to go to court and hear the judge say, well, you are no longer guilty of the crime of murder, which I was never guilty of in the first place. And it's time for the whole United States to know that.
And what are you most looking forward to doing once you walk out of these doors?
Probably going somewhere and have a meal, because I didn't have breakfast this morning.
We're going to take you for a meal.
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips, real quick, when you got out, you didn't have a lot of family with you. You said those relationships had gone away.
Well, when I got locked up, I lost contact with my family. So I have no idea. I have a son, I have a daughter, and I got an ex-wife somewhere. But those relationships were severed to the point where as though I haven't seen my daughter or my son in over 47 years. When I left the street, they were 2 and 4. So now, in the event that they see this press conference or whatever, I would like for them to get in touch with me so that I can renew those relationships.
Mr. Phillips, what do you say to them if they do see this?
Didn't I see you once before?
You did, yeah, and you walked out and you looked at the sky.
I never forget a pretty face. But anyway, I'm not sure that it will happen, but I'm hoping it will.
So you haven't had any contact, I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips, after all the publicity from a few months ago?
No.
No contact with them?
Not whatsoever.
Do you think there's still around?
I have no idea.
Okay, we have to stop because the jury panel's coming out here now. You'll be able to go to the courtroom.